In the highlands of northern Thailand, the commercialization of cropping systems on sloping land has been advancing rapidly over the last 2 decades, with high commercial value horticultural products playing a key role in agricultural diversification. This is the case in Maesalaep watershed, a Naka village in Mephalwang district of Chiang Rai province. Because most of the farmers' fields are located on steep slopes with angles ranging from 20 to 60%, the risk of severe soil erosion by concentrated runoff is high during the wet season. Knowledge of farmers' perceptions and decision-making processes regarding land use is necessary to understand the relationship between diversification through cash cropping on one hand and the risk of environmental degradation on the other hand. Moreover, a common representation of the watershed is also needed to identify and assess appropriate land use scenarios to improve the current situation with all concerned stakeholders. Existing knowledge on crop diversification and erosion risk gathered in farmers' fields at the farm and catchment levels was synthesized into a prototype multi-agent model linked to a GIS. This mass model represents the spatial, agronomic and socio-economic organization and dynamics of the diverse types of cropping and farming systems as understood by the research team. The companion modeling approach was used to validate this prototype model with maesalaep farmers and, at the same time, to improve researchers' understanding of farmers' individual and collective decision-making processes driving land use changes. First, the prototype model was simplified to build a role-playing game with very similar features and dynamics to validate the research team understanding of the actual farming situation and its dynamics. The gaming board has 3 colors representing moderately steep and very steep slopes. Farmers' fields are located on these different kinds of slopes, each player managing between 2 and 10 fields. 12 diverse types of farmers players took part in the gaming sessions. 8 men and 4 women, younger, middle-aged or older villagers were included. They represented 3 main types of farms and played their actual social status. Various locations are arranged in the gaming room. The playing board is located in the middle. A village fund desk to get formal seasonal credit is in one corner, and the marketplace desk to be visited at the end of each cropping year. The range of possible crops and their corresponding levels of inputs are also displayed on the wall. 2 chance factors are included into the game. The type of rainy season, dry, normal or wet, is announced by the game moderator after the allocation of crops to the fields. Exceptional expenses or incomes are decided by drawing a card when clearing accounts at the marketplace at the end of each year. The results of players' decisions on their economic situations and land degradation in each field are recorded in a spreadsheet. Erosion cards displaying 4 levels of severity of soil erosion are given to each farmer for every field at the end of each cropping year. They are displayed on a public bulletin in the room. The gaming and simulation workshop was organized with the village school, and a teacher acted as translator. The key rules of the game are explained to the villagers. After studying the possible crop choices and related levels of inputs to be invested, 4 players come to the board to allocate crops to their fields. When not playing at the board, they communicate, exchange, and they look for credit and advice. This is also when the weather conditions of the crop year are announced. Players can also get formal credit from the village fund. At the end of each crop year, each player clears his or her account at the market desk and draws a card for exceptional expenses or incomes. Their annual net income is settled and they have to repay their loans to the village fund. Erosion cards for each of their fields are displayed on the public building. In the morning gaming sessions, 3 or 4 successive rounds of play corresponding to as many crop years are played according to the set of rules decided by the research team. During the lunch break, players discuss the morning session among themselves, and when reconvening, they suggest modifications of the rules. The following days, 1-hour-long individual interviews with each player took place to understand how they relate the game with real circumstances by criticizing the game features and rules, and also to elucidate their decisions during the previous day gaming sessions to facilitate the modeling of their decision-making processes. First, a simplified multi-agent model with features very similar to those of the role-playing game was built and discussed with farmers. Farmers identified their fields and observed the succession of crops being planted during the simulation. When disagreeing with the crop choice, they intervened to make their points. Then, the research-based model linked to a GIS was shown. Its features and possible outputs were explained to the villagers. They accepted most of the proposed features and dynamics, but they insisted to have high-quality green tea, a recently introduced perennial cash crop, included among the possible crops to be chosen. The final collective discussion focused on the identification of scenarios for future land use and collective watershed management. A community leader proposed to use simulation for assessing different ways to deal with price fluctuations of horticultural crops. "This is our life," said an old male farmer. Most of the spatial, agronomic and economic features and rules of the model were socially validated by the villagers. Most of the players acted during the game according to real circumstances when allocating crops on sloping land, searching for credit, etc. An understanding of farmers' decision-making rules when looking for credit was obtained from the gaming sessions and the subsequent individual interviews. A better understanding of farmers' choice and location of their crops in the landscape was achieved through this interactive collective learning process. The increased importance of plantation crops to expand the permanent cover of the soil and of farm employment to release the pressure on steep land was striking during the role-playing game. Players suggested to improve the game and the mass model to offer a more diverse and updated choice of these plantation crops. The companion modeling process stimulated dialogue and exchange of views about watershed management problems among different categories of villages and representatives of government agencies to assess adapted ways to further reduce the risk of soil erosion by sizing new production, market and employment opportunities. This approach takes social relations into account, and special attention should be paid to the composition of the group of stakeholders players, starting with diverse villagers first and adding more stakeholders later on. Maesalaep farmers propose to invite members of the village management committee to participate in the next participatory workshop. Before that, the research team will improve the role-playing game and the multi-agent system model, according to the suggestions made by the players.